I'm aware that many of you have expressed a desire for online counseling, and to that effect, we have a sponsor who will help you and assist you in that respect. So if you will, go beneath the video, you'll find a link to our online counseling sponsor. They have a whole team of counselors that can help you. Practice self-care, get the help that you need. I've long held the notion that says the best way you can discern an individual's emotional maturity or healthiness is to watch how they manage themselves in the midst of conflict. And specifically, the emotion that's most closely associated with conflict is going to be anger. Now, when we think of anger, we often think of that person who's raging and very overbearing and pushy and forceful, and sure enough, that's anger. But anger can show up in so many other ways as well. Some people say, well, I don't get angry, I just feel frustrated. Well, frustration's a form of anger. Irritability, annoyance, agitation, impatience. When you say you're feeling stressed or tense, that's all an indication that you're struggling on the inside with your anger. Now, as you try to figure out how you can have a good handle, a mature handle on your anger, where does your mind tend to go? Now, the biggest problem that most people have whenever their anger starts getting unruly or just settles in a little bit too strongly is they go to the external. They start thinking, who's to blame out here? And what is it that I need to do to get these people or these events and these circumstances to line up more suitably to my needs? And we immediately begin thinking, I wish that other person would act better or circumstances would be better. Sometimes as we try to have a little bit more of a big picture approach towards managing anger, we can look back and we can say, well, my family of origin didn't really do a good job of training me, so maybe they're the problem. Or sometimes we make excuses for our anger. Well, I've been under a lot of stress lately. I mean, who hasn't? I mean, a lot of us have. I've got job issues or money issues or the kids are driving me crazy, things like that. We tend to look to the outside world thinking what could happen in those kind of circumstances so that I would feel a lot less angry. Well, actually, when we think about managing anger, there's one ingredient over all others that's going to tell you if you're going to have that mature approach, and that is you have to have internal focus. You want to look at not the outside world, but who you are on the inside, what is going on in you. I make the assumption that the outer world is always going to create its fair share of stress and strain and tension. That's just a given. When we talk about internal focus, we talk about you having an insight and awareness about your basic needs and how it actually feeds your anger. Now, as we go into the internal focus, there are a few things that you want to realize as you make your healthy adjustments. And realization number one says, I can't make my problems disappear. No amount of wishing or pleading or cajoling or persuading is going to make your problems go away. I just believe whether it's in marriage or extended family or work environments or social circles, there's just simply going to be no shortage of people out there who are agitants toward you or who create circumstances and you can think, that's just not right. It's out there and you're not going to make it all completely go away. The person with the external focus for managing their anger is going to drive themselves absolutely batty trying to make their anger go away because they're trying to fix something that isn't going to be ultimately fixed. Now, a second realization you can have as you take this internal focus is that you can recognize that your anger is ultimately a strong commentary about your internal maturity. When people are managing anger with agitation and blaming and defensiveness and strong, pushy comments or stubbornness or the silent treatment, that's all very childlike. It's just, children just are raw reactors, and you were once that child, and you once had raw reactions to whatever it was that was in front of you. At some point, when you have internal focus, you realize, well, I'm an adult now. And going back to realization number one, I'm not going to make all those problems go away. Then I guess what I have to do is I have to realize I can't really afford just to be nothing but a childlike reactor. I've got to be a thinker. And I need to be somebody that knows who I am and where I am going. And the way that I manage my anger is going to be consistent with my other goals. We're going to get to that in just another minute. Now, a third realization is that you want to acknowledge that, sure enough, anger management does require addressing externals. For example, you can be assertive and you can explain yourself very clearly about who you are and what you intend and what your needs and feelings and convictions are. That's all well and good. You can set consequences. You can have stipulations. You can have follow through on the things that matter most to you. That's part of your anger management. But then ultimately, and this is realization number 4, you want to recognize that you don't want your anger to get in the way of what I call your higher priorities. In other words, your big picture. In the big picture, do you have an idea of where you're wanting to go, who you want to be? In other words, I want to be a person that's known for love or courtesy or decency. I want to be somebody that knows how to coordinate well. I want to be somebody that shows respect toward others, even as I maintain self-respect, those kind of things. So ultimately, you want to know that I've got this overarching theme that defines me. Anger is one piece of what I am, but I want to see it inside the context of all the rest. So this means that you're having to be a thinker. So as you try to get into that internal focus so that you can have a good management of your emotions, there are a couple of questions to ask. And one I just alluded to, are you a thinker? Are you someone that says, okay, when circumstances become difficult, do I just react? Do I blame? Do I coerce? Or do I pull back and think, who am I? What is this doing to me, and how can I best and most wisely respond? And there's a term that I like to use. I call it mind over emotion. Your emotions are not illegitimate, but your mind has to monitor it so that they don't just run away with you. Another thought that you can have is, are you able to rehearse in advance what your better responses might be? That's what the person with internal focus is going to do. With that internal focus, you can think, okay, there are certain predictable scenarios that I just need to watch for. I mean, the kids can be contrarian, or an extended family member may be overbearing or pushy with their opinions to the point where you feel constantly invalidated. Your schedule gets blown, or plans in work or other kinds of circumstances are derailed. As you think, okay, in those scenarios, because I know it's going to happen today, I may have some things going on just in my immediate future. How do I want to respond? Do I want to yell? Do I want to shame? Do I want to coerce? Can I be calm and firm at the same time? You want to be the kind of person that rehearses in advance. The next time this happens, here's going to be my reaction. And then another thought, as you have this internal focus, could you see yourself as being a trendsetter? You know, the external person is thinking, if I could just get everybody out there to act the way I want, then I'll be just fine and my anger is going to subside. Well, when we talk about having an internal focus, we're talking about you taking care of things inside your own lane. But it could be that as you do establish yourself as being a more mature and steady kind of person, then others might go along with you, and that's how you make some external adjustments. You focus on your internals. Kind of paradoxical the way that works. Are you a trendsetter? Are you someone that more or less implies through your lifestyle, watch how I do things, I'm going to manage my life in a clean way, and if you are so inclined, I'd like you to join me. But if you're not, I'm going to go ahead and be the mature person in the equation. So what we're saying is you do need to build a certain pessimism into your mind and your thinking as you go into your anger management, your conflict resolution mindset. This is a flawed and imperfect world. It always has been. It continues to be now. It will be in the future. But as you see these flaws in yourself and in other individuals, I'm hoping you can focus on one huge thought, and that's that internal notion that says, I can do better. I'm going to get there. Now, I hope that videos such as this give you something to think about and contemplate. If you've not already done so, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel. We have my Surviving Narcissism channel, and this one we focus on things a little bit differently, and we would invite you to do so. If you have a need for counseling, and these kinds of issues can arouse that kind of thinking. If you have someone in your immediate area, I would encourage you to seek that out. If you don't, or if you would prefer, we have a link below that could take you to online counseling. We have a sponsor that we trust, and they have a whole team of licensed professional counselors that could assist you in online counseling, and that's quite popular. We have my courses, free to be, and we have others that are on the way. And then we have our webinars. You can find those on the course link in survivingnarcissism.tv. We have my books, The Anger Trap, When Pleasing You is Killing Me, lots of resources. Okay, so I'm putting a challenge out there to you. I'm hoping that you can have that internal focus so that even if the external world is not what you want, there's a mindset in you that says, I'm going to be the better person, and in doing so, I'm going to show what a steady, healthy, mature individual looks like. I hope you can take that challenge.